And good afternoon. We have the XP31. For those of you who don't know, that's a prototype. When you see the XP in front of it in the American um, lines, that means it's a prototype version that never made it beyond that. Okay, we're using the Arctic map right now, and it is night, which is what I wanted to show. This is going to also serve as the replacement for the video that I posted earlier this morning, and I'm yanking that video as soon as this one goes up, and it comes with my apology. I did not hear the background noise that came in because I had a headset on. I'm talking. It tends to drown out a lot of background noise. But I did want to get the night sector in so you can see. I also wanted to tell people about the boot camp that was going on, and I had ignored it because I've been working, as a lot of you know, on getting tier 8s up to tier 9 and tier 7s up to tier 8, where I've been behind, especially on the German lines. Tried to edit it out, no luck. Not real pleased about that, but it is what it is. So here we go with a new one, and I'm sorry guys. The more I actually reviewed it twice, the second time sounded worse than the first. I understand the down checks on it. We're pulling it, and hopefully we won't make a mistake like that again. Not if I have anything to say about it. What it was a TV coming in from the living room. We're all getting older here, and like every person that's ever slowly going deaf, they want to ignore it and pretend it didn't really happen. Blah 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 blah. Anyway, it was up a little high. Came in on Mike was picking it up. So it wasn't something I was particularly close to, but that doesn't change the fact you guys had to listen to it. Now, the nice thing about night is when you're on target, it is really hard to miss. You can even tell what part of the aircraft you're hitting. I'm not a big fan of the Laredo here because it's much higher altitude capability than my fighters are typically, and it's fast. The 192, I mean. Okay, let's get ourselves turned around here. We're going to turn on flaps. Yes, let's not ignore the nice plane behind us. There we go. Laredo 68. The nice thing about that is you got the aurora up there, you got a full moon. It's not like a Stygian night. You almost have to sense where the aircraft is against a black sky. It's a shadow on a shadow. When you get the right background, there's plenty of that here. Believe it or not, I'm flying this entire thing with my flaps on because I'm too darn fast for the... I'm hitting my air brakes to slow down. Okay, get back up to speed here. You really aren't tempted to use boost much, I'll tell you. Alright, got that fellow. Let's see who's next. See if we can serve as a target. I still got flaps on. I'm wondering why I'm not closing all that quickly. Alright, one more target up here. Make sure I got my flaps off. Yeah, I do. Okay. Ooh, that's a lot of targets. Alright, another P-23, doing the same kind of plot maneuvers that never work. You get behind them. Oh, that was very nice of them. Didn't even have to hardly shift to get on them. Another P-23. There's a fellow. Went and shot me up. Very inconsiderate of him. And it's one of those lovely Arados. Alright. Down here. Say hi to Troy and his bulldog. Hopefully it'll be running out of aircraft soon. The squall line's been up for a while and they can't replace aircraft. Now this is a fun target. You barely see him against the night sky. You're really counting on your tracers to outline when you're hitting and how you're adjusting. Alright, P-23. Haven't seen those before, have we? More than a dozen times today already. Okay. You will get used to using sniper mode more than you're used to with these. Once you get into that night sky. And this fellow's after me. Let's see if we can avoid the collision. Barely. Actual UN player, first one I've seen in the game so far. P-26. Alright, pulling my flaps in to get up to speed here. Hoping this Arado didn't come down and eat my lunch. Sure would if I were him. Well, I seem a little distracted because I'm watching my radar map too and trying to avoid getting dead. And at this stage of the game, it's kind of permanent. And I haven't got a whole lot of health left. Well, I hate to say it, but just not a whole lot more I could have done there. Darn! Hate to see that. All right, gentlemen, I got to tell you, when I shoot down 21 aircraft, I think I left it all on the field, you know. Oh, Lord Almighty. I'm just having a whole lot of trouble figuring out what else I could have done there. My, oh my. All right. So there is your P-31. A little background on the aircraft. They essentially took a, let's see what we see here. I believe this was by Curtiss. Yeah, it was by Curtiss. Essentially, they took one of the earlier ones, a P-21 or something along that line, and they decided they were going to upgrade it. Well, they used they upgraded the frame, obviously. It's fully enclosed cockpit. You can see modernized touches in what it was. It's a little more streamlined, for one thing. It's also, but essentially they took an earlier fighter, tried to streamline it up, but they didn't install a better engine in it. And the result was it was somewhat faster, but it was not a marked improvement over the P-21, the P-26. I think it was the P-26 they were upgrading. And left the Air Corps kind of, U.S. Army Air Corps kind of scratching their heads saying, and we did this, why? So it was a strategic mistake. With a better engine, probably would have done quite well. But it's an interesting, and it's a transition aircraft. You can tell by the splats, all the cross bracing, which was doing nothing but slowing it down. Having an radiator hanging down in the airstream, which is a big no-no. So you see touches of the more modern as well as the older thinking in the bracing that you see with this aircraft. Within a year or two after this, you would not have seen this. This would all have been cleaned up. You'd have retractable landing gear, and instead of bracing, they would just upgrade the airframe itself so it was stronger and able to take the stresses. When you see bracing like this, the designer isn't sure that he's got enough strength in the airframe. And it was very common and almost de rigueur required for World War I aircraft. And you see this kind of design at this age, 29 through 32, quite often. And so it tells you an awful lot about the aircraft. Let's go over the gun armament, which I found to be rather effective. And sure enough, it has 47.62 Brownings. Survivability for this level is pretty good. Airspeed is excellent. That's why I kept trying to overrun him. Maneuverability is on par with everybody else, and altitude performance is 2297, which again at Tier 2 is pretty darn good. It's a premium aircraft as a, so you know, it's fun to play at Tier 2. It's nice, nice aircraft to contend with, and been a thoroughly enjoyable experience. Listen, folks, I'm going to wrap this up in a minute, except to ask for your help in liking the video and in subscribing. This does serve as a replacement for the earlier video. My apologies, and I'll try to make sure that it never happens again. Boy, am I kind of shamefaced on that one. And then we'll take it from there. Okay. Sorry about the noise on the last video. It won't happen no more. All right, we're going to wrap this one up. And thank you for flying the very unfriendly skies with Tironan. This is a wrap.